Okay, Valerie, I've got the backside of your poster up here, first iteration. I don't have a PDF, so we kind of have to look at it like this. I can't zoom out here. Well, I can, but you won't see it on this recording. So we're kind of stuck this way. So to think about it, start dropping PDFs in there instead of inline, or at least a link to a PDF. So you know how I like to zoom in and check alignment and all that stuff. So my main thing here with this poster is that you did the square thing on the front, right? The squares, and you established that. But I got to tell you, it's not working on the back, and let me tell you why. Just in simple terms of proximity and placement, that means really where the elements lie on the page, specifically the timeline. It's separated. Physically, there's a physical separation between the timeline. And that indicates to the viewer that these things are not related. And again, the proximity of the end of the timeline here, again, is indicating to the viewer that these aren't related. Well, that's not true. They are related. So once the viewer gets into the composition and says, wait, these are related, then they're going to get confused and wonder why they're not being presented together, like as if they were a part of the same group. So I would recommend that you develop that timeline as some kind of a continuous graphic, and try to design your timeline instead of just giving the year and reporting the event. So in other words, can you design a concept for the timeline? I mean, think about some of his famous songs. Think about things that you can use to design a concept about Bob Dylan and his time on the timeline, and other than just placing the things in blocks. So in other words, I don't think it's going to work to continuation of the blocks onto the back of the poster. And the reason is because the back of the poster, there's a lot more textual information, and by placing it all in blocks, you're kind of separating it from each other. You're putting them in their little separate cells, in their little jails. This one goes here, this one goes here. So again, visually and in terms of basic visual communication, they're not related to each other. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's something you've got to figure out, some way to turn this back into a related, harmonious composition, as opposed to a series of blocks with text in them. Okay, I hope that makes sense. As far as typography goes, this is you're breaking a lot of rules that we had. Remember those 17 rules? In this paragraph alone, you're breaking several of them. You've got a decorative typeface. Basically, this looks like Bauhaus, and that's fine. But the thing is that it's very, very difficult to read. So you wouldn't use a typeface like this for body copy. You would try to find something that's a little bit more legible. And also we can see that using a decorative typeface, we have these issues and a lot of spacing issues, whereas you were to use this in a headline, it would be no problem at all. But trying to use it in body copy, we can see that the commas look like periods. So that creates a bunch of stops for the viewer, also a little bit of confusion. Then you also have, anywhere there's an S, you're going to have an interesting negative space, okay, which is great in a headline, not so good in body copy. And then, of course, you have a widow down here at the end. That's that word alone. And I don't think your bio paragraph is long enough. You're not saying much about Bob Dylan at all here. American songwriter, singer. I mean, give us a little bio on the man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's get some information here. Really, really make this thing, an informational poster as much as a visual piece. Okay, so that's what I have. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to get with me. I'll see if I can clarify. All right, thanks very much.